Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always glad to have you here. Glad to be back after I took last week off. I needed to do that, and Susan did a great job filling in for you guys, VV Nation, here on Trending Thursday, and I'm very grateful for her being here. And I was in the background listening as she was doing it. She did a great job. By the way, if you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation in the chat. You'll notice that everyone can chat with each other here on YouTube, unlike what we do in our Jockey Club every morning in the VectorVest software. So, Torin says, can you hear me? No, I cannot hear you. I can only see your chat, but I can't hear you. All right, so it looks like I'm coming across loud and clear. Glad that you are here and VV Nation is standing up. I love it. And you know, with everything that's going around with a lot of stocks being moved, as I would say artificially, I'm glad to have a spot for you guys to make better decisions on the stocks to buy and sell. This is what Trending Thursday is all about. We look at stocks that are making the news. We look at the stocks that are relevant in today's market to help you guys make better decisions. That's what we do. It is not about, well, let's just move this stock because we have the power to do so. That's not what we do here. All right. And as I walk you through how to effectively use this VectorVest software and look at the stocks that are making the news, hopefully you'll see the value behind that. Because as an investor, as a true investor in the market, that's what it's all about. All right, that's what it's all about. I see a lot of stuff coming up about Dogecoin. I have to put it out there that unfortunately, we do not track Dogecoin because we are not a currency database. We have some currency stuff in here, especially when it comes down to cryptocurrency, but we are not primarily a currency database. So it makes it tough for us to get into some of the cryptocurrency stocks that you're interested in. So I wanted to just let you know that. And somebody asked me if I'm rich. I make good money in the market, and I will tell you that with everything that's going on in the market, I've got a portfolio that in a year is up in excess of just about 100% for the year. I think that that's a good number. That's a good number. I don't think anybody would balk at that. I really don't think anybody would balk at that. So that's to answer your question to the most honest way that I can say that. Someone's got diamond hands. New terminology coming out, and it is what it is, but I want to say that a lot of what's going on, just be careful with that stuff, folks, all right? Hi, Glenn. Say hi to my friend Fadi. He is live in Israel. Robert, I want to say hello to Fadi, who's live in Israel. You know, and I love that I have a reach across the world. This is not just a United States thing. This is people from all over the world are in here. So Fadi, thank you. And I want to ask you guys as well, how many of you brought a friend today? All right. How many of you brought a friend today? If you did, type a me in the room. All right. That's how we grow this community. And I want to, you know, and we're still just hitting the tip of the iceberg. We are definitely hitting the tip of the iceberg. And thank you I got a whole group in here from Hawaii in here as well, and I reach out to them. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for supporting the channel. All right, so a little bit about me. I've been with VectorVest. Next month will be 17 years. VectorVest has been around for 30 years. 30 years or more teaching people how to make decisions in the market. So that's what we do. That's what this is all about, and I'm glad to have you guys here for Trending Thursday. And we always start off Trending Thursday with what's going on in the market because market timing is so important. Now, for many of you who are new and you think that you cannot time the market, I'm going to disagree with you. When we say we time the market, we don't predict which way the market is going to go. We are trend followers. We follow the trend of the market, and we keep our subscribers on the right side of the trend. That's what we do. Now, before we get started, As you listen to the content, if you like what you hear and you're not already a subscriber to the channel, hit the subscribe button, smash the bell icon so that you will be alerted to new content. That's number one. Number two, if you like what you're seeing today and you're already a subscriber, hit the like button. Let us know that you appreciate the content that is being relayed to you as we go through this presentation. Do not be afraid to hit the like button. That helps us. Hit the subscribe button. That helps us. If you want to see this content get better, you want to see the channel grow, help us to do so. All right, now let's get back to market timing. All right, we keep our subscribers on the right side of the market, and we have a unique set of tools to help you look at the market a little differently than most people do. All right, so as we get into the home page of the software, let's take a look at what's going on. And if you are not a subscriber to the VectorVest software, Joey is going to type a link in the room, and actually Joey is my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
All right, he's my producer. He helps me to look really good on the screen. He's going to put a link in the room for all of you who are not subscribers to the software. We will give you access to the VectorVest software for 30 days for 99 cents. Take advantage of it. Everything that I'm going to show you here, you're going to be able to do with that 99-cent trial. As we look at the homepage, we always say that it's sort of like looking at the front page of your local newspaper, where market timing is always the front story, the headline story. All right, so here's our market timing gauge dial today. The color guard today is bullish. VectorVest, we give you guidance. VectorVest does advocate buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. That's good guidance. Depending on how you invest in the market, this guidance can be used to help you to be conservative, to be more prudent, to be more aggressive. And you know, with today's day, with today's age and all of that stuff, I think a lot more people are more aggressive than they think they are. But I'm going to back up a little bit, because the more aggressive you think you are, the more you have to give stocks room to move. All right. I'm looking at that whole idea with the diamond hands, and I'm looking at the whole idea of the terminology of to the moon or zero. I don't want you to have to consider zero. I'm all about hitting the home run and making good money on stocks, but do it responsibly. All right. Do it responsibly. If you're down a lot in a stock, and someone is telling you, and I know what I'm talking about when I look at a lot of the social media, someone is telling you to hold the line and to buy more shares. Folks, at some point in time, you're going to have to get rid of those shares, and most times it's going to be at a loss. I'm going to tell you, the retail investor does not have the buying power to go up against the big folks. Think about that. Just think about that. A lot of people are new in VectorVest like me, and as I see everything is green like today and made confused, not sure how to read the numbers in the app. So let's talk about that. Right now, I see that all of the major indices are up. All right. I look at all of the major indices are up. That's a good sign to say it's okay to buy stocks today. I look at our daily color guard. I see that we're in the green. That's a good time to say about buying stocks today. How about our guidance? Says it's okay to buy safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. The information is right here in the software telling you the market is up today. It's okay to buy stocks. Our daily color guard is giving you 3 lights across the top. It's okay to buy stocks. The guidance is saying that it's okay to buy stocks. I'm not sure where the confusion is coming into place. Now, keep in mind that this is just on a day-over-day basis. Let's take a look at what's going on behind the scenes in the market to help you to make a better decision overall on what the market is doing. So I'm going to start off in the software. I'm going to go from the software and go over into our news stories. Pick whichever panel I'm supposed to have, Joey. There you go. So starting from a market perspective, what things are driving the market? So I'm going to answer the question a little deeper into helping you understand what's truly going on in the market and should we be more bullish or bearish. My first story says Biden to open the sending of $1,400 stimulus checks to a smaller group of people. As I read more and more into this, I think that based upon how much you make will determine whether or not you're going to get this next stimulus check. I'm okay with that. All right, I am okay with that because does everybody need it? I'm going to say no, especially if you are working, you don't. But the people who are not working, if you fall in a certain category of money you've made, then that's going to have a big significant understanding on whether or not you're going to get the next stimulus amount. All right, so that's big. And because of the anticipation of more stimulus, that's helping to keep the market stronger. So I'm going to go back to that question. Is it okay to buy now? Well, the market's moving higher. If the market's moving higher, stocks are going up in price. If stocks are going up in price, they have the opportunity to make you money. All right, so stimulus is one part of that. What else is part of that? Manufacturing growth continued early in 2021. Well, manufacturing, if we're putting out more product to be able to send overseas or send to other people, or for us to even buy, that's a good thing. Those jobs are still in place. And guess what? They're going to still continue to need more people to fill positions to keep manufacturing going. So those are the two stories that I have in regards to what's going on in the market. Something else to keep in the background. I don't have a lot of news on it yet, but something else to keep in the background. Inflation. Inflation is going to be a key. Inflation is going to be a problem. Why? Because when you're looking at a Goldilocks scenario on the market, what are the three things that move markets globally? The three things that move markets globally are earnings, interest, and inflation. Earnings company, the fact set is coming out or will be coming out towards the end of this quarter to show you how many companies meet or exceeded their earnings. Earnings is the biggest engine or the biggest driver behind a stock market. All right, good earnings, a market is going to be in a bull market scenario. Now, the other two things, interest and inflation, are the bad guys. When interest and inflation are up, when interest is up, when you pay back a loan, you got to pay it back at a higher price. When inflation is up, it costs more money to buy goods. Those are the things that bring markets down. So in a Goldilocks scenario, you want earnings up, you want interest and inflation down. Let's take a look at that. Earnings are still going up. Companies are still making money overall. I'm thinking that as we get closer, later and later in the year, the coronavirus from last year is still going on. It's going to have a stronger effect on earnings coming into stock for this year. Keep your eyes on that. But right now, they're still good. Inflation is not an issue by way of the Fed yet. And what they've done, though, they've broadened out how much inflation is okay to keep the market going, to keep the economy going. But once inflation kicks in, we're feeling it already. How many of you feel it when you go to the store and you buy food? How many of you are feeling it when you go to the gas station? Now, there's a political side of that that say now that the Democrats have taken over, that gas is going to go up. There's a lot more behind that. Before you start going the political route, let me take you the real stock market route as we get into those stories. There's a reason why oil is going up. And whether you're a Republican or Democrat, right now, I don't even want any of that. I'm going to show you the reasons why oil is starting to move. All right, so we look at interest, we look at inflation. Interest rates are still historically low. The Fed said they're going to keep it low until late next year. But if inflation starts to pick up, folks, how long are they going to be able to keep interest rates low? Just keep that in mind. And again, put that in the back of your mind. Put that in the back of your mind. So these are my two stories in regards to what's going on in the economy. And that's important because the question came up as you look at what's going on in the VectorVest software, how do you take advantage of that? And right now, we're in a bull market scenario. The market is rising. Earnings are going up. Interest rates are down. Inflation is, that's all I'm going to say about inflation. Everybody needs to keep that in mind. Inflation is, can you say that, Joey? Yeah, that's where inflation is. All right, so keeping all that in mind, let's take a look at the stocks that I use for tracking the market. Which one do I want? I think I want that one. And let's go to our viewers tab, go to our watch list viewer. I'm going to go to our trending Thursday. And let's go find our watch list for today. Every week, folks, we work off of a watch list of stocks for our stories. Today, we have how many stocks we got 19 stocks that we're going to take a look at. Now, the first two stocks that we're going to look at, since we've gotten a look at what's going on in the market, let's take a look at the two indicators that I use for market timing. For those of you who are not subscribers to the VectorVest software, of which we're offering 99 cents, you can use the S&P 500. So I've got the ticker symbol SPY for the spiders. And for those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, we have a ticker symbol called the VVC, which stands for the VectorVest Composite. It tracks the movement of 8,500 plus stocks. We feel that it's a better representation of the broad market movement. So I'm going to highlight the both of those, all right? Now, I want to tell you something, especially for the new people in the room. As you look at the listing of these stocks, they are sorted by our master indicator, which is VST, value, safety, and timing. The stocks that have the best combination of relative value, relative safety, and relative timing automatically migrate to the top of the list. So as I built this watch list of stocks that we'll look at today, they are already situated to bring the stocks that have the highest combination of value, safety, and timing to the top of the list. Notice where the market timing sits, towards the bottom of the list. That doesn't mean it's good, bad, or indifferent. We look at their graphs to make a better assessment. Now that I've got them both highlighted, I'll right-click, click on View the Stock Graph. Let's take a look at them. I'm going to put them on a 3-month graph. A lot of people ask me all the time, why do you look at a 3-month graph? Because what is the biggest mover of a stock's price? Earnings. When does it happen? Every quarter. That way, when I'm looking at a 3-month graph, the earnings picture is captured in my graph because that's the biggest mover of a stock market's price, right? Or a stock's price. Look at the S&P 500. Definitely bottom left, top right moving. What else do I have on my graph? I've got levels of support and resistance. My red lines show me levels of support. Usually when a stock's price breaks below it, you'll start to lose money. And here's my green line, which shows resistance. Normally, when we break above it, we make money. How about the S&P 500? Definitely moving right at an all-time high right now, which is sitting at 385.85. Right now, we're at 385.26. We're above a 20-day exponential moving average. I love using moving averages to help to discern what's really going on. Above it, nice open candle today, right at resistance. I'm going to answer the question again. We're still pretty bullish. If we break above this level of resistance, the market still has legs. How about we fell below, created a level of support? This was my real level of support sitting at 364.60. And look at the market still running. I like it. Let's go to the VectorVest Composite, which looks at the movement of over 8,500 stocks. And today we hit a new all-time high on the VectorVest Composite. Look at that equity curve, folks. That's the market. Now, the market's direction affects 80% of the stocks in the market. I think right now is a great time to be in the market, but you got to understand this. What goes up must come down. I'm still, with all of the beautyosity, that's a good Glenism, with all of the beautyosity that looks like it's really good in the market, I want to still let you know, the market is at a point of being overbought. Be careful. All right? Don't lose sight of that. The market is still at a point of being overbought. Be careful. It doesn't mean not to buy stocks. And if you do so, just be careful. A good rule of thumb, don't lose more than half of what you've made, especially in an opportunity where the market's rocking and rolling. Don't lose more than half of what you've made. I think that's a good rule of thumb. All right. That's my take on the market. We are moving higher. It's okay to buy stocks, but still be cautious that the market is overbought. And folks, this is what investing is all about. This is the power of doing your homework to help you make the right decisions at the right time, and not to get my stocks off of social media and hope and pray that I make money. Those are 4-letter words. I'd rather have consistency on my side. I'd rather have high probability on my side. And this is where I use the VectorVest software to help to accomplish those things. All right, with that, that's my first story. Joey, do I have any questions that I need to tend to? Okay.
Can I watch later?
Yes, you can watch later. This is going to be recorded, absolutely. Anything else? All right, Joey's going to let me read one. Oh, hold on. Who is this from? Robert. Sirius, consider joining our VV Nation. You will be happy. I have been a member for a long time. Live Jockey Club with Glenn and Steve is a blast. You will enjoy it. And you know what the cool thing is? A lot of the people that are talking in this room our VectorVest subscribers, listen to them. I work for the company, so I'm going to always tell you the ins and outs of the company. I think it's a better testament of what we do and how we do when you listen to a VectorVest subscriber talk to you there. VectorVest, don't tell Glenn, but MJNA just hit a new high, 50% for a second or two. Mark, I'm killing it in MJNY. I own, and I'm going to be very transparent. I own 345,000 shares of that stock. I'm killing it. I am killing it. Somebody asked me if I'm rich, and I told you I've doubled my money in just, in a year. I ain't just whistling Dixie. MJNA is a good stock, especially if you're looking at, we talked about that yesterday. We talked about our marijuana stocks yesterday on our hot stock panel. So yeah, I'm in it. All right, let's get to my next story. Before we get to my next story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Folks, especially if you like the information that I'm putting across to you. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then I want you to subscribe to the channel, but hit the like button. All right, let's get... Is what thing on? It is on. Is it? Okay. Yeah, you want me to put the whole... Yeah, here it is. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah, that's my Kramer board, folks. All right, so Joey put that together for me. I don't use it as often as I should, but this is a time to ring the cash register, folks. Over and over and over, but don't get complacent. All right, let's get to my next story. My next story is all about Bitcoin. Now, as I mentioned that because we're not a currency database, there's only a certain amount of cryptocurrency stuff that we track. But cryptocurrency is making a move. Cryptocurrency, remember way back in the day when you said cryptocurrency, you go, cryptocurrency. Now it's not as funny, is it? Cryptocurrency, the big boys, JP Morgan Chase, PayPal, Square, a lot of people are getting on board with cryptocurrency. And I think that one of these is a story in here that you're going to find very, very interesting. But Mara, in the cryptocurrency space, to receive 4,000 new Bitcoin mining rigs from Bitmain. Right? I thought it was Batman. Anyway, but these companies get their Bitcoin through data. They're getting high-powered machines, 4,000 new Bitcoin mining rigs to mine coin. This is becoming big stuff. Big stuff. So Marathon is a stock that we'll talk about. This is big. I don't know how many of you knew this, but California Pension Fund loaded up on Riot shares during Bitcoin's Q4 rally. A pension fund. That's huge. And again, I don't know how many of you knew that, but talking about the big boys, and California pensions are a lot of what's dragging down their economy. I'm thinking that the same thing is happening in New York as well as the pensions. California is trying to pad some of that with buying Bitcoin. Riot, that's huge. And again, I don't know how many of you knew that, but this is one of the biggest ones. California's public pension increased. Riot, that's up. So they picked up 1.9 million shares at the end of 2020, adding to Tuesday's filings. That's up from 16,907 Riot shares were worth a comparative minuscule $49,000. And there it is, the largest public pension fund in the U.S. The largest public pension fund in the U.S. Now, a lot of people will say, wait a minute, is that a gamble? Well, I think that they see the writing on the wall that it's becoming more and more used. A lot of smaller countries are starting to move over to Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin is a place to be. It went to St. John's University, and since kindergarten, it applied the knowledge. After 12th grade, it went straight to college. That's a wrap from a long time ago. I don't know how many of you can relate to that. That's all right. I'm showing my age as well. But a pension fund, that's huge, is picking up shares of Bitcoin by way of Riot. Here's another one, and this is EBON, ticker symbol EBON. Clayton DeBert from VectorVest did a great story on our YouTube channel talking about it. Newly listed eBank International Holdings makes Bitcoin mining machines and is set to launch a cryptocurrency exchange. Another exchange is gonna come out early this quarter. We need another exchange for Bitcoin. All right, but eBank is going to put that out there. The company has to compete with, there it is, more than 290 established cryptocurrency exchanges and work its way to the top 5 to make a difference. So if you know anything about the company, if you haven't looked at Clayton's video on our YouTube channel, please do yourself a good service and do that. It was very well put together. It's got a lot of buzz out there. Take a look at it. So that's another stock that I'm going to take a look at today. So those are my 3 cryptocurrency stories. Let's go find the stocks. Let's go find the stocks in my list. Remember, this is my list for today. I'm going to come back to this one. This is a good way to track the whole industry in our software. Remember, we don't track a ton of currency stocks, but the ones that we do, we're going to look at. There's one, there's Marathon, there's Riot, and there's EBON. Those are the 4 that I'm going to look at. Notice that BLOC, which is the one, it's an ETF. It's an exchange-traded fund, and I think that this is a great way, if you don't want to play a specific crypto stock, BLOC is a good way to be in all of it. All right, it's an ETF, an exchange-traded fund. It's up 1% today. Marathon, Riot, EBON are all individual stocks that'll have their up days and their down days. But when I look at BLOC, it incorporates all of these different stocks. So let's do some analysis. I'm not going to do it on BLOC, but let's start with Marathon. The stock is trading at $22.93 with a value of $6.67. The stock is grossly overvalued. Doesn't make it a bad stock. It just means that with all of the buzz, more and more people are buying into it, driving the stock's price higher, driving it higher past to a premium to own the stock more than what the stock is currently worth. Now, a lot of people will say, well, your value is wrong then. By all means, that is incorrect. In order to get a value, we look at the earnings on the stock, we look at the earnings per share, we look at the earnings growth rate, amongst other things, to give a real value or worth of the stock. This stock is trading over its value. Again, it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Let's look at some of our indicators. Relative value, which looks at a stock's long-term price appreciation potential. I want to know that once I get into the stock, the upside for the long term, 1 to 3 years. Is this a stock that I want to hold? Well, this indicator is cast on a scale between 0 and 2, where above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. Currently, Mara's got a relative value below 1, which means next 1 to 3 years, this stock should be outpaced by a AAA corporate bond. That will change as as crypto gets more and more prominent in the world. I still think that crypto is more of a speculative play, but I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. And I am going to point out the opportunities where you can buy it. The next indicator, relative safety. It's an indicator of risk for the stock. Below the value of 1. This is another reason why I say crypto is speculative. Relative safety is below 1. This is a more risky play, but relative timing tells me that the stock is definitely in an uptrend. So fundamentally, the stock is not sound. But with all of the news and all of the buzz about it, it's definitely moving higher. This is more of a speculative play, but you still have an opportunity to make money. Next stop, Riot, $22.92 with a value of $167. Again, overvalued. Upside potential, not really there. Relative safety, this is more of a risky play, but relative timing is above 1. Now, if I look at this, the earnings on Riot, -1. All right, -1 penny. But they've got an earnings growth rate of 23%. Mara's got an earnings growth rate of 28%. These stocks are getting better. They're a lot better than where they were like a year ago. So they are getting better. Does it give you the opportunity? Does it give you a good opportunity to buy stocks? Buy these? Absolutely, but be careful. Next one, EBON, 623, value of 47 cents. Upside potential, not there. Safety, not there. But there it is. Relative timing tells me that the stock is in an uptrend. Earnings, negative. Negative earnings growth rate. So based out of these three, Mara or Riot would be the better way to go. Let's talk about BLOC right now as I look at the graph. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to view the stock graph. So BLOC is a great way to play the whole industry. Look at it. Even when the industry pulled back, you remember when that happened? It was in the news. Oh, my gosh. Crypto is going to crash, and everybody go hide your mama and go put your sister in the closet and hope that the world's going to come to an end. Look at the graph. The graph tells you is worth 1,000 words. It sat in a channel. Look at that. I'm going to take that line off. It sat in a channel. It stayed, and once it bounced off my level of support sitting at 36.34, bounced back above the 20-day exponential moving average. Is that a good opportunity to get in? By all means, yes, it was, and look at where it is now. Use the software to give you analysis. Use the graphs to help you to time getting into a trade. Over the last 3 months on this ETF, bottom left, top right, gotta love it. Even when it sat in a channel, it didn't fall off the face of the earth, did it? No. Let's go to the next stock. So here's Mara. Mara, there's that pullback when crypto got beat up. It fell. Now, moving averages are only good when a stock is rising or falling. It's not good when a stock is moving sideways. So I can use a different indicator. I'm going to add parameter. Let's go to technical analysis. Let's go to stochastics. Stochastics is a good indicator to tell you when a stock is overbought or oversold. How about right here? Stochastics was at 80. The stock was at a level of being overbought. Let me draw my horizontal line. Look at that. When it's sitting at about 80, look at that. It was overbought. What did it do? It fell. So when the news came out that, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end and crypto is falling off the face of the earth, it did what it was supposed to do. It was overbought. It fell. It got into this little area of sitting at 0.20 where it was oversold. What did it do? It rose. Technical analysis helps to make a good decision, not because somebody on Facebook or somebody on a social media channel told me. I can use technical analysis to go way more beyond what I think should happen with a stock. All right, so that's Mara. Right now, I'd really like to see if it could take out that high. It is above the 20-day exponential moving average. If I were going to buy today, I wouldn't. Why? Because I never want to buy a stock on a down day, ever. Always want to buy a stock on an up day. And then if you're in it and the stock goes down, let your stops manage the trades. That's what you do. Stop panicking. You get into a stock, it goes down, and the first thing you want to do is cry. Stop. That's what having software like VectorVest is all about. That's what putting stops in place is all about. Stop second guessing yourself, because every time you do, you're going to lose out. You made the decision for the right reason. Stick to your guns and let your stops manage the trade. That's how to trade responsibly. Keep that in mind. All right, next stock is Riot. Let's take a look at it. Same kind of scenario as Mara. All right, it also found a level of support. Look at that. Bingo. Beautiful level of support. Bounced off above the 20-day exponential moving average. Today is a down day. I wouldn't buy it today. If I own it, leave it alone. Leave it alone. You're fine. All right, I'd really like to see if we could take out that high, though. And the last stock we're going to look at is EBON. EBON is a little bit more of a woo-wee. That's what that is. I want to say that's
good googly muggly.
Absolutely. Good googly muggly. I'm not sure. I would rather be in Mara or Riot. This one is a little bit more swingifiable. Ooh, is that a good word? No, it's got a little bit more jagosity. That's a good Glenism. It's got a little bit more jagosity. It's got a little bit more volatility. It's got a little bit more volatility. Just be careful with this. All right. Again, Clayton did a good story on it. It rose. It found a level of resistance. What did it do? It fell below the 20-day. Boom. Look at that. Bounced up. Today is a good up day. And if you get into it now at 618, this is my profit target. My profit target on this stock is sitting at about $8.70. I'll take that. I'll take that. I got a big wick at the bottom of the candle. That tells me I got a lot of buying pressure. I'll take that. All right. I like that it came off a level of support. It's going up. That's my profit target. All right. That's my story on crypto. Dogecoin, I know is big and hot and heavy out there. We don't track it. Keep in mind it's new. Keep in mind it's new. It's got a lot of buzz behind it. And a lot of times when you get into an IPO, you see a stock that goes up on big on news, on IPO-ocity, what does it tend to do? It tends to pull back hard. Just be careful with it. All right? Any questions, Joey? And again, from the perspective of how hot and heavy in the news these stocks are, this is how you use the power of the software to make a better decision. All right? Saucy says, please stop saying VectorVest is only 99 cents to try out. Software is worth much more than that. Don't short sell yourself. Listen, I got to get people interested in it. A lot of people out here are sitting on the fence going, I don't know if I want to do that. You sound just like that too. I don't know if I want to do that. 99 cents. Change your mind. All right. Hubert says, since year one, VectorVest put a lot of reason, less emotion, a lot place, and a lot of. Okay, I'm not sure what he said. Emotion. All right, less emotion. And you know something? What I go through here is not what I feel; is what I see. All right, it's not what I hear. It's not what I feel. It's what I see. Army Palmer says, lost money with VectorVest each of my last 4 years. I need help. Man, Army, I got to find out what you're doing. All right, we've got so much free content to show you what to look for, knowing when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. I'm not sure what you're doing. That's tough. That's a tough pill for me to swallow in the current economic situation that we're in. Oh, Robert said too, when you join VV Live Jockey Club, Glenn will teach you how to trade so you will make profits and help you not to lose in trades. And again, Robert is a VectorVest subscriber. That's not me. I didn't pay him for that. I just want to keep that in mind. All right, so that's the power of the software to help you understand more how to play these crypto stocks. I'm going to take another moment. If you like what you see here, comment, subscribe to the channel, especially the people who were invited here. If you like what you see here, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. And if you like what you're seeing as well and you're already a subscriber, hit the like button. How many likes do we have? We'll let that go. You think we can get to 300 likes? If we can, 500. Well, if we can get to 300 likes, that'd be great. That'd be great. If we do, we do. If we don't, it is what it is. I ain't going to twist nobody's arm to do anything. I also want to let you know that if you can't watch these live, these are podcastable. Wherever you have a podcast app, search for Trending Thursday. These are already as well on a podcast. So if you can't watch it live, you can always listen to it while you go shopping or driving around or whatever it is. All right, whatever it is that you do. All right, let me close out of this graph. Let's get to our next story. Next story is all about travel stocks. How many of you out there are ready to go traveling? All right, how many of you, normally if my daughter is here, I don't know if my daughter is here a lot. My daughter does a lot of traveling on her own. Her daddy loves her for that because not once does she ever say, hey, Dad, I need money for this. Hey, Dad, I need money. My daughter's a smart young girl with a great head on her shoulders. She gets it from her mama. All right. I'm just a guy, and I'm her dad. I love her to death, but a lot of that, she gets it from her mama. But she travels a lot. My daughter has done more traveling at her age than most people have done during their lives. All right, and I'm just curious, how many of you out there are ready to go traveling again? Just type me. Anybody typing a me or a yes in the room? There you go. But what's stopping you? Coronavirus. So interesting. I was looking at the amount of money that airlines are losing on a monthly basis, the amount of money that cruise ships are losing on a monthly basis. It's a lot of money, folks. So I look at this. Here's a story, Carnival Cruise. Carnival Cruise, sports betting to hit the high seas. The sports betting feature will give guests the opportunity to bet on major pro sport competitions, as well as a wide variety of other exciting domestic and international events. There's a lot of folks out there. It now puts Vegas on the seas. Interesting, right? So they're trying to become as creative as possible. There's a lot of people, and you know why Carnival is doing that as well? Because stocks like DraftKings, like Penn Gaming. What's my other one like DraftKings? There's another one like that. I can't forget. I don't know what it is either. I don't remember what it is. But they're out there. And how about the Carnival cruise ships are trying to get those people involved by offering that? When the ship is in international waters or wherever permitted by law, guests can use the Medallion Class app to wager on a host of major sports. Now, already on the ship, though, you can gamble. You can already gamble as long as you get out into international, FanDuel. You can get out, once you get into international waters, you can gamble. But now they're looking at, like the big gaming stuff. All right. Presumably, sports betting will also make its way to Norwegian Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean. But, man, so they're trying to be creative in their ways to get people out on the boats. Now, on the other side of that, American Airlines. American Airlines CEO tells employees to brace for furlough warnings. The airlines are getting smoked, folks. They are getting smoked. And I get mixed stories of the people who are flying. Sometimes the flights are full, sometimes they're not full. I'm thinking that with the COVID-19 pandemic going on, I don't think anybody should be flying on a full plane. That's my personal opinion. All right, that's my not yet. And not until more and more people are inoculated. Until that happens, I don't think that anybody should be flying on a full plane. But that's, again, my opinion. Tough for the airlines. If American, you look at United, you look at Southwestern, not only that affects the oil as well, because these planes, if they're not flying, they're not utilizing gas or jet fuel. That's going to affect the oil as well, right? Which is my next story. So American Airlines workers should brace for another round of furlough warnings as the airline expects to remain overstaffed on April 1st when the U.S. aid for industry workers expires. All right, there was a relief package for them. I think that was in the last coronavirus deal. All right, these people are getting hurt, and it sucks. It really, really does suck. So, keeping that in mind, U.S. aviation unions are urging. Here we go. U.S. aviation unions are urging, urging Congress to extend a third round of payroll assistance, something Parker said he would support. So this is what's keeping these folks employed, is what we've been getting from the coronavirus deals. And, excuse me, if it doesn't continue on, these companies, American, all of the airline companies are losing a ton of money every month, just like the cruise lines. All right, so travel stocks, I keep seeing news that, hey, it's going up. It's time to go, 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 go. Well, let's go take a look at that. Let's get back into the software. Let's look at our travel companies. We'll look at American Airlines. What else? Here's our Carnival Cruise. Here is Norwegian Cruise, and here's Royal Caribbean. Is that it? Travel stocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there's the 4. All right, notice where they sit in the list. If I'm looking at any of these stocks to jump on board with, American Airline has the best combination of value, safety, and timing, followed by Carnival and then Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. All right, American Airlines trading at $17.49 with a value of $133. That makes sense. This industry has been decimated. So, of course, the price is trying to rebound, but the value of the company has gone down tremendously. Upside potential, relative value, nil. Relative safety tells me the stock is more aggressive, but it is starting to move. This is the news behind it, saying, yeah, it's time to buy it. Well, fundamentally, American Airlines is not sound right now and looking at laying off more people. Negative earnings growth rate. Carnival Cruise, $21, value of $16. Upside potential, relative value, below 1. Relative safety, below 1. But again, 1.42 on RT. It's starting to move. Now, this is putting things into perspective. The news is out there that these industries are poised to rebound. I got you. I totally got you. But if I look at the fundamentals of the company, they're not there yet. We're going to look at the graphs to really help to determine when your buying opportunity is. All right, Norwegian, $24, value of 12. Upside potential not there, safety not there, RT above 1. The one that concerns me the most is Royal Caribbean. $71, value of 33. It's got a relative value at 0.52. No good upside potential. Relative safety at 0.74. Not a safe stock. And the stock is not in an uptrend with RT at 0.97. All of these stocks have negative earnings and negative earnings growth rates. All right, let's take a look. The news is saying it's time to go, it's time to go, it's time to go. Well, let's take a look at the graph. Let's go to the videotape. Who said that? Warner Wolf. Wasn't that Warner Wolf? He said, let's go to the videotape. What do you see? Are you super hype on jumping on board with American Airlines? This is a 3-month graph. What's the stock doing for the majority of 3 months? It's in a little bit of a channel. There's the news. Yay! And then this is the reality. Oh. But what's cool about it is it's above the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, the stock is at a level of not being overbought. Technically, what I'd really like to see is if it could stay above the 20-day exponential moving average. If I jumped on board with it now at 1748, here's my profit target sitting at 2177. I'll take that. But I want to make sure that I'm buying on a rising day. Because it's above the 20-day, I like it. But let's make sure that if I do, I'll make sure I buy it on a rising day. That's my profit target. All right, let's go take a... So we know that fundamentally these stocks are not good. I'm looking at this now from a technical standpoint on these stocks. Carnival Cruise sitting in a channel between a low of 1979 and a high of 2226. Yeah, let's see if this stock can break out of its channel first. It broke out of the channel to the downside, back into the channel. I'd like to see, and that channel is pretty tight. I'd wait to see if it could break out of the channel. The stock is not overbought or oversold. RT does tell me that it's above the value of 1, but the graph tells me I'm not ready to pull the trigger on it just quite yet. Norwegian, the same thing. It is just recently bouncing off a level of support of 2285, breaking above the 20-day exponential moving average. But interesting about this, every time so far over the last 3 months or so, break, look at it, pull back. Break, look at it, pull back. What do you think is going to happen now? Break, possibly pull back again. All right, so that's where I stand on all of these stocks. Norwegian, I'm not ready yet. Royal, I'm not ready yet. And there's Royal, so it was Norwegian. It was Carnival, I'm not ready yet, little channel. Norwegian, I'm not ready yet, little channel. And Royal, a lot of them are sitting in looking at the same thing. And look at this, bounce, beautiful level of resistance at 7608. I need to see the stock break above that level to show me that Royal Caribbean has legs. All right, but definitely above the 20-day exponential moving average. I like that. Let the stock come to you. Let the stock come to you. And I do like that for that pullback right there, the stock got into oversold scenario. It's going to have more of a bullish tendency, but let it start breaking through these levels of resistance. All right, that's my stories on this. And again, the power of the software to help you to make decisions. You hear the stories, you listen to the stories. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the analysis makes sense to help you to make the right decision. All right. Any questions, Joey?
Couple comments. Dave says don't like time.
Okay. Dave says he doesn't like any of these at this time. I'm showing opportunities, even if they are short term. Even if they are short term. You know, and the graph really is the picture of what's it's the story. It's telling the story. If you look at the graph and you say, holy smokes, I could do better than that, by all means do so. By all means do so. But these are stocks that people are talking about out there in the world, and I want you to see what to do with them. Okay? All right, so the difference between VST and Midas Touch. Midas Touch uses a combination of moving averages to show a trend. It's looking at a 10 and a 65-day moving average of relative timing. It's looking at a 40-day moving average of RT. What we're looking at for Midas Touch is for all three of those moving averages to be hitting a new high over the last 3 months. That's what Midas Touch is. Just like King Midas, everything he touched turned to gold. Well, it is what we were using for tracking gold, but it worked out so well for gold that we use it for stocks, so we can put Midas Touch criteria on stocks that the 10 and the 65-day moving average of price, of the stop price, are hitting new highs, and the 40-day moving average of relative timing is hitting a new high. That's a great stock to take a look at. Any other comments, Joey?
Dave asked, can you sort by VST?
Now, the question is, can you sort by VST times CI by GRT? The answer to that is yes, if I want to. I can go up to the sort at the top left-hand corner. And if I bring this over, I've got a myriad of different sorts that I can use. VST times CI times GRT. There it is. That's a sort. I can sort by that, and the stock that comes up to the top of the list, still a lot of the same stocks. When we get to crypto, coronavirus, a lot of those stocks are at the top of the list. But that's stocks sorted by high VST, high comfort index, and high earnings growth. The same stocks that I had in my list sorted a little differently can give you a different perspective on which stocks you feel more comfortable with.
Last
All right.
one.
Yes.
What is the logic of buying?
Oh, so what's the difference between buying on the green day, buying high on the green day? So let's talk about that. When I look at a stock, what's the best stock in the whole wide world? Apple. All right, why do I want to buy on a green day? The green day means the stock's price is going up. Now, did I buy high on this day? I'm just picking out a specific point in time. The whole idea of buying on a day that's green is you're buying on a day that it's rising. Is that the high price? No, that's the high price. Could I buy on any one of these days? Absolutely. Now, was that a bad opportunity to get in? If I use stops, I didn't get stopped out of the stock, and the stock's price continued to go higher. Why do I not want to buy on a red day? Well, because the stock's price is going down. I'm going to tell you that you want to buy rising stocks on a rising day. That's why we want you to buy on a green day and not a red day. All right? So that's the rationale behind that. Any other questions, Joey? All right, I'm working on that. All right, let's get to my next story. Let's close out of the I don't want to do that. Go back to my viewers. Let's go to the next story. All right, oil. Oil is bigness now, right? Oil is starting to move. A lot of people out there going, yeah, Glenn. They're going, boom. Yeah, oil's going to be a big story. Yeah, I know. I don't know how many people picked up that reference, but oil is something to consider. Now, I want to talk about what moves oil. Demand. Demand is starting to pick up a little bit, but what else is picking up oil prices is going to be inflation. I keep telling you, keep that inflation story in the back of your mind. It's not to the forefront yet, but I want you as subscribers to the software or subscribers to this channel to understand that inflation is going to play a role, a major role, not sure when, but it's starting to pick up. Interesting. U.S. oil exports soared to a record high at Louisiana port. That's one port, and it's kicking out a whole bunch of oil. They're exporting a lot of oil. As you do that, what happens to the supply? Supply goes down, supply goes down, supply goes down. That's in just one port. So here we go. Oil stockpiles fall by 994,000 barrels, and this was done yesterday. That's huge. That's where demand is going to start pumping in. As we start getting rid of our supply, our oversupply, we're going to start to see demand pick up. Now, it's a couple of other things happening. Big pipeline, we shut down, cost a lot of jobs. I want you to understand, if you Google pipelines in the U.S., show me what that map looks like. There's a lot of freaking stinking pipelines running all over the U.S. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Did it cost a lot of jobs? Possibly it could have. Do the pipelines that are already running through the United States bring in a lot of jobs? Absolutely. Absolutely. Not only that, as we talk about oil and the possibility of it keep going up, I want you to understand that slowly but surely, all of the fossil fuel companies are making a concerted effort to lessen their carbon footprint, moving more so towards clean energy. I'm just also putting that out there as well. I think that as time goes along, we are going to start getting off of fossil fuels. I don't know how long that's going to take, but it's in full effect. We've looked at clean energy. As a matter of fact, we've got a hot stock panel on clean energy next week. So keep that in mind. What else? China's crude stockpiles at a one-year low amid global drawdown. What does that mean? Do you not know that China is one of the biggest importers of oil? It's going to drive oil prices higher as well. China's going to need oil. China's going to need oil. China processed a record volume of crude oil, and they're running through it. All right, and one last story. Oops, nope, that is my story. So oil is showing signs of starting to move up. Is this a good time to buy oil? Let's talk about that. In my watch list, let's go sort this back by VST again. That column is still here. Don't worry about that. Actually, I can. Let me go take that out real quick. Layout, and let's go take out that column that I put. Move that over to the side. Click on OK. Click on OK. And that column should go away, and it did. All right, and we're sorted back by VST. So here's my two stocks that I want to look at for oil, and there's one more that I want. WTI is one of the stocks. Western Gas, and I want to talk to you about that one. And my last one is USO. There it is. Notice where my oil stocks sit in my list sorted by VST. They're in the top. They're towards the top. That gives me a good feeling about oil right now as a way to get in. Notice that all three of these stocks are up today. I'm going to come back to, there's no story that I have on WES, but as I look at it, $16, $14.88, a little bit overvalued. Look at that. This is why I like this stock. Relative value is above 1. This stock has good upside potential. All right, relative safety tells me that it's still a little risky, but RT is above 1. Positive earnings growth. I like this stock. I didn't find any news on it, but going through my gas stocks, I figured I'd give you a little something to keep your eyes on. I like this. And again, I couldn't find any news on it, but I like it. This USO is an ETF for the whole industry. And it's in an uptrend. Let's go take a look at these stocks on the graph, view the graphs. All right, put this on a 3-month graph. Look at this, sitting in a channel. This is sort of like sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh. All right, a little bit, but it's setting up. Beautiful level of beautiful level of support sitting here at $2.17. I'm going to take off some of these levels as well. I like that. It's about ready to go through that level of 275. If I were going to get into this stock, I use this for looking at oil for the most part. The stock is not overbought yet. The stock is in a channel. I'd like to see it break about 5 cents above that channel before I jump on board with it. Beautiful level of resistance. Hit, zone, hit. That's a beautiful level of resistance. I think that once it gets above that, it could be a good opportunity to get into it. Here's the stock that I like, though. WES, a little bit of a sideways move, a lot of time spent above the 20-day exponential moving average. I'd like to see it jump above that high of $17. Stock's not in overbought territory. RT stayed above 1. That short-term price trend of the stock has stayed above 1 for a lot of the 3 months, even when it was moving sideways. I like this stock, and to look at the whole industry, USO is rocking. USO, looking at the industry, is telling me that oil is poised to start to go up. Look at the 3-month graph. So I'm on board. Just make sure that you buy as the stock is rising and not, it looks good. All right. It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. I like it. I like oil. Just time your entries. All right. Any questions, Joey? Oh my gosh, you weren't ready for questions?
Not ready.
Oh my son. No? All right. Again, I am a fan.
What time of the day do you use stocks?
What time of the day do you usually buy stocks? It all depends on as you look at throughout the day. So look, let's do this real quick. Let's look at these. and USO, right click. I'm going to show you something. If I were looking at buying it today, I'm going to change my graph to intraday, 5-minute bars, current day. Oh, I got futures on. When would I buy today? Here's the high for today. I'd go about 5 cents higher than the high. All right, let's go look at this one. I like this one. I'd go about 5 cents higher than the high. Love that. Look at that WTI, intraday, 5-minute bars. I'd go 5 cents higher than the high. It stayed above the 20-day exponential moving average pretty much all day. This is intraday, folks. USO, I would have bought somewhere up in here, and I'd leave it alone. If I bought somewhere up in this run, leave the stock alone, let the stops manage the trades. It is moving sideways, so moving averages are not really good in a stock that's moving sideways. But if I jumped on board with this, I'd leave it alone. Leave it alone and let my stops manage the trade. So hopefully it answers that question. Any other questions, Joey? The hot stock panel for clean energy is next week, next Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on YouTube. Again, folks, if you're brand new and you like the content, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you're interested in taking advantage of the VectorVest software, 99 cents, 30 days to give you access to the software. All right, let's get to my last story. Oh, my last story is all about the coronavirus, baby. I don't think I can go a week without talking about coronavirus. I've seen news, though. Interesting. I've seen news about people getting the second shot, the Pfizer shot, getting the second shot, and still getting COVID again. I got to look more into that before I can report on what that's all about. But I also get a lot of, not flack, but a lot of concern that how is Pfizer, which is one of the strongest companies in this space, going down? And I made the comment in a YouTube, a YouTube response in that there's a lot of competition in this space. As you're going to see, there's even more stocks coming into it. I, on the other hand, like Pfizer. I think that it's a good, strong company. But the graphs tell the story. And by way of the graph, Pfizer is not as viable right now as some of the other stocks that are in this space. That's the bottom line. It really is the bottom line. But overall, Pfizer was one of the only companies that didn't take the government's money to put its vaccine together. And it's one of the companies that's been around for the longest time. So I like Pfizer, but from a graphical perspective, there's other stocks to be in rather than Pfizer. So that's how I'm going to phrase that answer in regards to that. But Singapore approves of Moderna. Moderna is my stock of choice, and I believe it was my stock of choice because it was the one that was hot and heavy in the news before the vaccine ever came out on it. All right, so I went with the fastest mover with the most buzz, and that's why I am a Moderna fan from that perspective. All right, next story in here, Novavax. Novavax, Moderna, and CureVac secure new COVID-19 vaccine orders in Switzerland. So these companies that are out there are getting on board with other places around the world to get their vaccines out there. Now, I'm going to put this more into perspective as well. It's great to have the vaccines out there. I still don't think logistically we're ready to handle all of that yet. It's great that on paper, yes, we want to vaccinate or inoculate 100 million people in 100 days. I think that's admirable. But the logistics don't seem to be there to accommodate that yet, and you need to make that happen before you can try to go after that aggressive goal. All right, that's my 2 cents on that. The government of Switzerland has entered into agreement with Novavax for the delivery of 5 million doses of the company's experimental COVID-19 vaccine. The purchase order for the drug has also been raised by 6 million doses for 13.5 million. That's a lot of doses, folks. That's a lot. That's a lot of logistics of trying to deliver that and house it and all of that kind of stuff. All right. So just keep that in mind. An agreement has also been reached with CureVac and the Swedish government to secure 5 million doses of investigational. So one, One was, what was the other one? Experimental. I don't like these words. Experimental, investigational. Whew. The mRNA-based COVID-19 candidate from CureVac is currently undergoing an international clinical phase 2-3 efficacy study. Whew. A late-stage study, Novavax protein-based COVID-19 candidate met the primary endpoint with an efficacy of 89%. That was on Novavax? Yep, on Novavax. All right, and last, CureVac. CureVac, just like Pfizer and BioNTech got together, a couple of these companies are getting the backing of other big companies. So CureVac ropes in Bayer to boost COVID-19 production. All right, how about that? Bayer becomes the latest European pharma giant to ramp up global vaccine production after agreeing to produce the COVID-19 from CureVac, which is currently undergoing a pivotal phase. All these words about these drugs, and I ain't scaring nobody. Go get the vaccination if it's gonna, I'm not trying to tell anybody not to get it. All right, I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying that. All right. How about earlier both Novartis, Sanofi joined Pfizer, BioNTech to boost theirs. So everybody's trying to get together with somebody else to put these drugs out. Now, real quick, I'm going to give you the effectiveness on all of these drugs. Moderna, 94% effective. Pfizer, again, a stock that I like, 95% effective. Novavax, 89% effective. Another company out there coming up is Johnson & Johnson, another promising vaccine, this one from Johnson & Johnson. Some good news this week, Johnson & Johnson's vaccine looks likely to become the third COVID-19 vaccine to enter the market behind Pfizer and Moderna. I looked at the story. They are 66% effective. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you, just telling you where you are on all of these different drugs and which ones are more effective. And the last stock in here, Inovio, rises 36% following an increase by BlackRock. So now we got somebody jumping on board with buying. This is another stock going up. Shot up more than 36% in afternoon trading following a disclosure that BlackRock increased its ownership of the company by nearly 87%. So now we got somebody else buying into the company instead of matching up with. There's a lot of moving parts going on with the COVID stuff. Companies on top of companies, hooking up with companies, smacking other companies, kicking the other company, duking it out like that. Where's my dip? That's exactly what they're doing. Everybody's trying to get to the front of the line to get their COVID and down. But in the with all of that, they got to still stick you in the arm, right? Exactly, and that's what it's all about. All right, so I wanted to give a good roundabout feel of what's going on with the COVID stocks, who's doing what and why. Let's go back to my list. Look at my stocks at the top of the list. Moderna, Novavax, CureVac, Johnson & Johnson, Inovio, Pfizer. Notice with all of those stocks, remember they're sorted by our master indicator, Pfizer's at the bottom of the list, and people are still getting on me and saying, how do you do that to Pfizer? How is Pfizer not moving? Listen, it ain't my call. I'm just telling you the story. I'm telling you, that was the first one to come out to market. But by way of our master indicator VST, it's at the bottom of the list. Whereas Moderna, Novavax, Moderna was my stock of choice. Novavax, CureVac, Johnson & Johnson, look at them. All of them have VSTs greater than 1. All of them have positive earnings. Notice that Pfizer, as good as Pfizer is, you notice that positive earnings on Inovio, on Johnson & Johnson, on CureVac. Positive earnings on Novavax, positive earnings on Moderna. So here's a good analysis point about why Pfizer's doing what it's doing. Pfizer's got positive earnings, but a negative earnings growth rate. They are not growing their earnings in the right direction. The data is telling you that. So again, I like Pfizer. It's been around the longest out of all of these companies. Johnson & Johnson is up there too. but the data doesn't lie. They are not growing their earnings in a positive manner. And remember, earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Keep that in mind. This is the analysis that helps you to make the right decision. The news is the news. I showed you the news. But this is, again, I say it all the time, this is where the rubber meets the road. How about Johnson & Johnson's got a relative value above 1? Both Moderna and Novavax have relative values above 1. How about Johnson & Johnson and Moderna both have fundamentals, relative value and relative safeties above 1? Folks, you can't make this stuff up. So why do I like Moderna? Let's go. Now that they're all highlighted, let's take a look at their graphs. Look at that, 3-month graph. Moderna was tough to sit through right here. But look at that, clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average, moving up, just like the Jeffersons, moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Look at that movement, nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. Would love to see it take out that high. Love bottom left, top right on Moderna. The stock is not in overbought territory. It was pulled back a little bit. Just keep your eyes on that. The stock is moving up enough that it might be back into overbought territory pretty quickly. RT is above 1. Next one, Novavax. Look at that. All right, now what concerns me, the stock was moving sideways and then all of a sudden, boom, it jumped up, but we understand what was going on with Novavax now by way of the news. Stock is moving up, approaching a level of resistance way high above the 20-day exponential moving average. But watch right now, the stock by way of stochastics is in overbought territory. Be careful with Novavax if you own it, especially if you've made some money on it. Don't give back more than half of what you've made. All right, next stock is CureVac. Man, CureVac doesn't look anywhere near as good as the other two. All right, it ran, it fell, it sat down. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. It ran, it fell, and it sat down in a little channel. Clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Watch these levels of indecision, these doji days. The stock's price is moving higher, but not with a much alacrity. Look it up. Joey, look that up. Alacrity, it's a good word. All right. RT, though, did go from below 1 to above 1. In the channel, though, I'd like to see it break out of the channel. Rising volume. Volume is nicely above the moving average of volume. Watch that the stock is getting close to being overbought, though. All right, and what else is in here? Johnson & Johnson is a ruler stock. That's a stock, that's a staple. That's a stock that's been around. I'd be careful with it right now. Look at that 45-degree angle, but look at what it did. It pulled below that level of support and pulled below that 20-day exponential moving average. Be careful with Johnson & Johnson. Let's let it find a floor and start moving up before you take advantage of it. All right, the stock is in oversold territory after it fell off so harshly. This is setting up nicely. We'd really like to see if this was the floor right here and watch the stock. This could be a good early entry now with a price target sitting at about 173. I like that as a possible trade right now. All right, and last but not least, Inovio, a lot of volatility, a lot of jagosity back and forth. Good Lord, look at that pullback. I'm not touching it right now. Coming off that high, pulling back hard. RT is pulling, it's still above the value of 1, but pulling back. The stock was in overbought territory by stochastics and it's pulling back. I'd be careful with that. But I do like the setup on Johnson & Johnson. All right. Any questions on my stocks there, Joey? That's my last story of the day, by the way. Any questions?
We get pre-market charts.
Can you? Yeah, you can. See right here where it says tools? I'm already using extended hours. So when I look at these charts, view this stock chart, put it on end of, I have it on end of day. Let's go to intraday, 5-minute bars. This blue area is after and pre-market. This is where my after and pre-market is in the blue graph. So yes, I can get pre-market, which starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. Any other questions, Joey? Hey, if you guys like what you've seen here today, how many likes do we get today so far, Joey?
2, 3.
2, 3, 4. Let's see if we can get up to 300. I'd really like to get up to 300. And how many of you who weren't subscribers to the channel are now subscribers today? Hit the subscribe button, folks. I mean, this is the kind of content that I bring to you every Thursday. And if this is a breath of fresh air to help you to make money, make better decisions, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. All right? Do that for me. Do that for me.
So why no?
Why no Astra? I got a lot of stocks. That was just not one that I had to look at. So how about this? I've got a listing of all of my coronavirus stocks, healthcare coronavirus. I got a watch list. You want to know how much is in my watch list? 50. Is AstraZeneca in here? Probably. Where's it at? Somewhere in here. Let's sort this. That's all of them. Let's sort this by symbol. Do it that way. AZN would be it. Here it is, AstraZeneca. Folks, I couldn't do an analysis on all 50 of them, but I like AstraZeneca. It's got good upside potential. What I don't like about AstraZeneca right now is that it's not in an uptrend. RT is telling me that it's not in an uptrend. That's what's hurting it right now. If I right-click and view the stock graph, that's what's hurting it right now. AstraZeneca is another good company. Right now, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on it. It's moving down below the 20-day exponential moving average. Relative timing tells me that the stock is in a downtrend, and stochastics is telling me that the stock is way oversold. I'd wait for the stock to bounce off of this level of support of 49.84 and start moving up. But, folks, I got 50 stocks in here in my coronavirus. I can't do them all. That's the reason why I didn't have any specific news on it to talk about it today. All right. Any other questions, Joey? All right. All right. So if that's the case, let's get this set up. Let's get this party started. All right. This is where I take a look at your individual stocks. Joey will call off the stock ticker symbols that he wants me to look at for you guys.
Obviously.
We're going to start with AMC, GME. All right, that's fine. It's SHYF, okay. ANTE, Anti. TTM, Tata for now. Oh.
TSNP.
TS. Oh, I'm in that stock. I'm up over 300% in that stock. ENSG.
Norton says mug.
Mug. I'm not putting mug in there.
PYPL.
PayPal, PYPL. CSCO. No, that's Cisco. COST.
CSCO then.
No, it's you want
Cisco.
you want Cisco?
Yeah.
CSCO. Okay. People still
SOX.
say again.
SOXL.
Socks, apps, Digital Turbine,
Etsy.
Etsy, the crafty place.
AKTS.
AKTS. Okay. I don't know that one.
JPM.
JP Morgan.
CSIQ.
CSIQ. All right, so that's it. That's the ones that Joey gave me today. All right, Joey's going to put a link in the chat so that in case you want to look at your own stocks, you get up to 3 from VectorVest. VectorVest will analyze them for you. All right, let's go put some 3-month graph. AMC. We all know what's going on with AMC. All right. Let me put things into perspective. All right. Before I start off, I'm all about retail investors. Believe you me. I'm all about anybody making money in the stock market. Believe you me. All right. I think that there's a level of irresponsibility when you look at a stock and I look at a website and a website says, stand your ground to the moon while the stock is doing this. There is a level of irresponsibility in that. Now, some of you are going to jump back and say, well, you know, it's the brokers and what they're doing is bad to the retailer. Screw all of that. What's the stock doing? That's the story. What's the stock? And you know something? Let's take this a step further. Let's go look. Let's analyze it. What's the relative value? Does the stock have good upside potential? No. What's the relative safety? Is this a safe stock? No. What's the relative timing? It's below 1. The stock is not even in an uptrend. What's the earnings per share? Negative. What's the earnings growth rate? A negative 10%. And when somebody's out there saying, hold the line, diamond hands, when you look at a stock doing that and look at all of the data that's there, there's a definite level of irresponsibility that's going to hurt a lot of investors. Now, let me back up a second. Was there an opportunity to make money when that was going on? Absolutely. Who was making that money? The savvy investor. Who's losing and holding the bag? The novice investor. There is a level of irresponsibility when somebody is telling you to buy more and hold the line. That's all I got to say about that. Nothing in the VectorVest software says it's okay. I need to see the chat behind that, please. All right, there's nothing behind it that says it's okay to be in that stock, folks. All right, so, okay. This is all I got to say about that. And I think that that whole idea of what's going on with Reddit and all of that, that is just the reality behind this, folks. That is just the reality behind this. Everybody in this room who is new to investing, this is what the VectorVest software is all about. Right here is what you see is what the VectorVest software is all about. Okay? I want you to know that. Preachiosity, a verb to describe when Glenn really gets into a topic, although I agree with him. Hi, Dave. I sweat a little bit. I'm big on this. I was in the hospital when all of this was kicking off. Let's go look at GME. Same scenario, folks. And yet and still, I look at the websites that say over and over, hold the line, stand your ground, buy more. Really? Where was the opportunities? The opportunities were there for the savvy investor to get in and get out. The novice investor is who's getting hurt. That's it, man. That's not good for people new to investing in the market. Why? Because then they get disenfranchised. And then they're the ones that are going to turn around and say, screw the market. It's rigged. Every retail investor with the right tools has the ability to make money. Every retail investor has the opportunity to make money in the market. Everyone. Okay? All right. There we go. Let's go to the next stock. I needed to see your input on that. And you know something? If you disagree with me, that's fine. If you want to put in the comments after this video is released that I suck, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm going to tell you something. I tell this to my Jockey Club people every day. I got a vested interest in your ability to make money in the software. Because if you don't make money, you don't subscribe. You don't subscribe, me and Joey don't have a job. I've got a vested interest in you making money. So you know something? I'm not going to tell you what you need to hear. I will tell you, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear to make better decisions. So you can disagree with me. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I'm okay with that. I got broad shoulders. Put it in the chat. Especially when these videos go out, put it in the chat. I want to hear from you. All right? I want to hear from you. All right, let's go to the next stop. Wow. Shift Group. Good. Googly muggly. I love that stock. That is wow. Good. You know what this looks like? This looks like an airplane taking off. That's a beautiful looking graph, folks. That is a beautiful looking graph. Beautifully above the 20-day exponential moving average, hitting new highs. Be careful right now. The stock could be hitting levels of being overbought. But even when it does that, it pulls back to this 20-day exponential moving average. That's a beautiful looking stock. All right. ANTE, in a bit of a channel, clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Stock is in overbought territory. Be careful. See that closed candle? The stock's price is lower than the open. It's pulled back a little bit. That's the level that I want to see us get above. If I can see us get above that high level of 385, I'd like it better then. I'd like it better than. If you're in it, though, let your stops manage the trade. If you're currently in it, let your stops manage the trade. Watch the volume. I'm not feeling the volume at all. Volume is conviction. I'm not feeling the volume on the stock. All right, but stock is overbought. I'm not buying it today. I'd really like to see it take out that high before I pull the trigger. TTM, Tata Motors. A lot of gaposity going on in it. I'm always leery about stocks that gap up because as quickly as they can gap up, as quickly as they can gap down. Definitely in an uptrend over the last 3 months. I'd like to see it take out the high, clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Stock is way overbought, though. Look at stochastics. Stock is way overbought. Just be careful with it. All right, just be careful with it. Let's go to the next one. Ooh, TSMP, I'm in this stock. Oh, I'm not in my account. I can't see. I got the stocks. How many of you saw Clayton's video on TSMP? Type of me in the room here on YouTube. Type of me in the room. All right, type of me in the room. Interesting. He did a great story on it. I bought it soon after he did the story, and I'm kicking butt taking names. Jake saw it. There's a lot of people most likely who saw it. It was a great video. And if you're new to the channel, you haven't seen it, go back through some of our videos. Clayton DeBert did an excellent story on Humble TSMP, and this has been a great stock to take advantage of. Now, somebody will say to me, well, is it too late to get into it now? How about now if I'm looking at it, I want to get higher than the high? What's the high? The high is at 95. I put in a buy stop order at $1, which is 5 cents higher than the high. Why? Because that ensures that I'm buying into a stock that is rising. George says he's getting greedy with it. I'm up 300% on the stock. I got a trailing 15%. I'm good. I got a trailing 15%. I'm locking in profits no matter what. No matter what. So I'm good. All right. Next one, ESNG. I like the graph, bottom left, top right, a little bit of a channel. Look at that. Broke above the level of that resistance of 88.02. Boom. Very quickly came back into that. Why? Because the stock was in overbought territory. Stock was in overbought territory. Right now, I love the equity curve. I'd wait for the stock to break above that 88.02 with some follow through. I'd break above it and would follow through. How about, wow, George is up 700% on TSMP. TM, that's just, woo-wee. Oh, man. Yes, Justified didn't follow through. Bummer. Okay, I got you. All right, let's go to the next stock, PayPal. We did a story on this for Bitcoin. All right, for cryptocurrency. Played right into cryptocurrency. PayPal looks good. Stock just nicely hit a new high today, 269, beautiful volume. Watch that the stock is in overbought territory. Just be careful. Even when it gets to that level of being overbought, notice how it pulls back down to that 20-day, except for here, it did find a level of support sitting at 2.25. All right, and bounced off of that. Loved using the 20-day exponential moving average. Once it goes above, that's a great opportunity to get in. All right, next one, Costco. Woo-wee, don't look so good right there. I'm not feeling that. The graph is telling me, I don't care what news comes out about it, the graph is telling me the story. Now, I will say this. I do like that it bounced off a level of support sitting at 348.74. But what I'm looking for now is it's got to get above this level of resistance of 360. It's got to give above my level of the 20-day exponential moving average. I will like, if that happens, if I do get in there, I like that level of 380.77 as a profit target. That's a good profit target. All right, so that's where I am. If you own Costco, you got to make a decision. Man, there's no reason why you should ever hold it going down like this. How about the 20-day exponential moving average? Great opportunity to get out. Every time it went below, how about there was a good opportunity to get out? I like, that's a good middle of the road. That's a good middle of the road moving average. Wow, Cisco. I didn't even know they were still around. Nobody ever talks about Cisco anymore. But the stock is still trudging along nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. Moved a little bit sideways right here. The stock is approaching the level of being overbought. RT looks great. Everything about Cisco looks great. I'd like to buy higher than the high, though. You know, a lot of people are probably in the room saying, why do you want to buy higher than the high? I thought you were supposed to buy low and sell high. Yeah, but I also want to buy as the stock's price is rising. I also want to buy as the stock's price is rising. So I like that. All right, what else is in here? Socks. Oh, the semiconductor. Moved up. Found a level of support sitting at 486.09. Went back up. How about it broke above my level of the 20 exponential moving average? Tested it. back above. I'd really like to see it take out that high. If I get in now because it's above the 20-day, my profit target is sitting at about 652. So I can do that. It's sitting at about 652. Apps, Digital Turbine, big. I don't know if that was news. Let me go see if that was news on apps, up 19%. Press release 4 hours ago. Why Digital Turbine stocks rocketed to all-time highs today? There's the news. I'm not going to read it, but it seems like it was news-driven. It's on an island all by itself on big volume. If I'm going to get into it, I got to go 12 cents higher than the high. But the stock is definitely moving from the bottom left to the top right. I do like it from that perspective. Etsy, same kind of thing. Bottom left, top right. In a channel, though, the level of resistance sitting at 226.23. Stock is not overbought. I like that this is going to have a great opportunity to break above that level of 226 and keep moving up. I like that. It's nicely, clearly above the 20-day extension moving average, and RT is rising. Next one. Wow, AKTS looks good. It was sitting a little dormant back here in the early stages of the 3 months, but look at that move above the 20-day and look at it run. Love the 20-day exponential moving average. Now, interesting, as the stock's price went up, it stayed in overbought territory. So now I will step back and I will tell you, I like stochastics as a heads-up indicator. I use the graph as my actionable data. I look to see if the stock's price is broken below my moving averages as a way to get out. Overbought, yep, it's overbought. And as long as the stock's price is going up, it'll stay overbought. It is what it is. But the actionable data happens on the actual graph by itself. All right. I like the stock, though. I like the stock. What VectorVest search will find these breakout candidates? There's a couple of them. Oh, David, why did you put me on the spot like that? There's a couple of searches. We got stocks that are breaking out of channels and stuff like that. Or I can use a 3. David, I'm really mad at you right now. You put me on the spot and I can't go through it right now. I could do that. I can't do it. I got to hurry up and finish before Joey smacks me. All right. But there are searches that are out there. I like to see you for a loss of words. David, you and I are going to have some words after this. Timeout. No time. I'm put you in timeout in the Jockey Club tomorrow. But there are ways that we can find stocks that are sitting in a channel that have broken out of a channel. They're already out there. All right. Chappell's Champs is a good one. Use a 3.8 over, use a 3 MA over an 8. You can do that. All right. There's ways to do that. Next couple of stocks. JP Morgan, it was moving up nicely. That was a good opportunity to take your profits if you were in it. Wait for another buying opportunity, which happened about 3 days ago. If you're in it, leave it alone. Let your stops manage the trade. If you're in it and want to get into it now, there's my profit target sitting at 142.75. You got about $5 you can make. The stock went from oversold. That's nice move. Went from oversold and the 3.8 cross. That was a beautiful entry right there as a regression trade. That was a beautiful entry on that date. Coming out of the level of being oversold, coming out of the level of bouncing back above the 20-day exponential moving average. I could set up a search like this too. Finding stocks that are leaving the area of being oversold and watching break above the 20-day exponential moving average. I can do that too. This software's got a lot of flexibility. CSIQ, Clean Energy, pulled back a little bit to that level of the 20-day exponential moving average, riding that line. I'd really, if you're in it right now, I have a profit target of about 67.39. About 67.39. All right. And that's it, folks. New to VectorVest and stock play on the whole, what is the best indicator to sell and where can I find it? Satya, the best indicator to sell is where you have to determine what your investment temperament is. So moving averages is a great way to know when to get out of a stock. If you want to be more automated, use something like a trailing 10% stop or a gain-loss stop. There's a lot of different ways to find out where to stop out. And because getting out of a stock or closing a position is personal, it's tough for me to lock you in or pigeonhole you into a specific stop criteria. All right? It all depends. You didn't work. It all depends on the type of investor you are. All right? It all depends on the type of investor you are. Take Stan Heller's moving average course. That's a great way. What are you looking for?
ENZ.
Evidently, we don't track it. ENZC. Yeah, we don't track it. All right, new people. Let me ask one last question before we get out. King says, you've mentioned 10%, 15% for stops. When do you use them? If I'm being a little bit more tight on my stops, the lower the number, the tighter the stop. So if I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive on the stock, I'm going to use a 10. If I'm trying to be a little bit more prudent on the stock, I'll use a 15 or 20. If I'm trying to be more conservative on the stock, I'm going to use a 50%. King, does that make sense? All right, does that make sense? All right, and ENZC is a Reddit stock. You know what I've been doing, Jake? I've got a watch list of Reddit stocks, and I'm watching them, and I'm just sitting back, and I'm just shaking my head. I'm just shaking my head. Vaxart, be careful with it. Hussam, VXRT in that space, it ran up. It was news-driven. Just be careful with the stock. All right, just be careful with the stock. All right, any other stocks that you guys are looking for? Joey's going to put the link back in the room so that you can click on that link and let VectorVest analyze any of your stocks. How many likes did we get today, Joey? We didn't get to 300? Really? Really? Wow. All right. It was my singing that stopped us? All right. All right.
You should practice.
I should practice? I thought that was good singing. That's all right. All right. If we don't get to 300, we don't get to 300. I'd like for us to get to 300 likes today. And I invite any of you to come out when these videos come out, put your comments. I want to know what your comments are, especially where I stand on the stocks that Reddit's putting out there. I think that's a lot of irresponsibility. And like I said, I'm all about the retail investor. Think about who subscribes to the VectorVest software. Retail investors. I'm all about the retail investor. I really, really am. All right, so I want to hear. And I've got two kids who are on the younger spectrum of age. My daughter and my stepson. He's my son. All right, and they are more of the mindset that the brokers and everybody is screwing the world over, and that's not how the world works. Now, was it right that on GameStop the float was the float on the shorts was way high as where it was? No, not at all. I think that was criminal in and of itself, and that's what this whole movement was about, to stick it to the man. Well, go stick it to the man. The man stuck it back to you because the retail investor didn't have the capital to go after them. But you know something? It at least made them put that short interest back where it needed to be. It went from like over 200% shorted to back to like 40%. So it did do that. It did do that. And I'm all for that. But to sit back as a new investor and go, well, Dan, everybody else didn't help me to make money because they stopped my trading. Do you know that the volatility on those stocks was off the charts? The volatility on those charts. And then now it made it so, well, you had to have a margin of X amount, and they stuck it to you because you stuck it to them. Every retail investor has the ability to make money in the market, and the VectorVest software will help you do that. All right, so thank you very much for the likes. I appreciate that. Hopefully the new people that are here, that were brought here, took the opportunity to subscribe to the channel as well. Listen, I had a lot to say. All right. Thank you for listening to all of that I had to say. I appreciate that. And I'm out of here. I'll see many of you guys in the Jockey Club tomorrow morning. I got a group here from Hawaii here. Mahalo for that group of people that are here. I appreciate that. And my people from all over the world, that's awesome that we have the reach all around the world. I know I'm talking a lot. Joey's trying to tell me to shut up, but adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha, salam, shalom, namaste. Have a great day, folks. We're out of here.